My dear sisters and brothers, evil always tempts us. We are all good people. Where and how does he tempt us? Either externally or internally. But what is the most important thing is what happens to us internally. Externally, there will be all kinds of things that are happening, but it is our internal accepting of that puts us into the wrong path. Instead of walking the way of the Lord, His way, we walk the way of the world, the way of evil. So, in that way, we might think in an evil way, worldly way, we might speak in that way, or we will act in that way. All of these actions, they give you temporary pleasure and good feeling. And then there is something called avarice, which means the more I get it, the more happy I will be. And so we get into that kind of a temptation, because this is the way evil one is duping us. And we don't realize it. We think we are getting more happiness, more joy, and yet we realize, no, I need to go more into it. Like say if you take drinking, when you take one drink, it is good, nice, you get a good feeling. Then you say, no, I want little more of that. So you take more. Then you say, no, I want a little more of that. Then what happens? Then you're totally drunk. Does it feel good? Maybe no. And then all kinds of things happen. Some people are becoming boisterous. Some people are very quiet. Some people, start doing all kinds of things. They are not themselves. Very often such people, the others will say, what has happened to him? John Sarabasla, they will say, not in control. This drink is controlling you, evil is controlling you. Then you regret afterwards when you are sober, what have I done? And you want to get out of it. Now you cannot get out of it. It holds you. Your whole system wants it. So you go back again. This is what can happen to us. And take this same thing for everything. You start telling lies. Lies will do the same thing for you. All the other things have the same kind of principle. It binds you. So what must you do? You must realize and say, I'm sorry. This is what I did on my own, not blaming Eve or Adam. No, taking it upon myself, saying, I have done this. I've gone wrong. This is the first start. Second thing, you must learn to amend yourself. You cannot go on saying, I've sinned, finished. No, you got to start working on yourself. When you see the drink, you got to say goodbye to you. It will tempt you. Say no. Now these efforts will start helping you. Why? Because God helps those who help themselves. So you are beginning to do that, God will help you. That is how He will set you free. What are you doing in order for that to happen? You're looking at Jesus on the cross and saying, Lord, you have died to set me free from this. And that is why in the wilderness, when the people were going from Egypt into freedom into Jerusalem, along the way they encountered, during those 40 years, many kinds of sins. This is one of them, where they started grumbling against God, grumbling against Moses. Why? They started thinking of that bondage where they had things, and now we don't have things. But God is giving them things, and they're not happy with what they have. They're thinking of those things. This is what happens in us. We are looking at things internally in different places, and what we have, we are not cherishing. What we don't have, and what we actually regretted in the past, those we are bringing. Confusion, that's what the evil one does. And so, my dear sisters and brothers, when such things happen, first and foremost, look at the cross and keep surrendering what is going on in your thoughts, what is going on in your feelings. At your breath, Jesus, 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 just surrender it. Once you have been able to do that, then you must know Jesus blesses it. Takes away the bad, gives the good, back multiplied, and also more good is filled into our body, mind and spirit. You're becoming a new creation. But if you're not aware of yourself, you are not present to yourself, you won't realize the change that is taking place in you. There is a change taking place in us. So we must be present to it. And that is what prayer will help us. I want to tell you about the story of this man who was kneeling in the church for hours. And one day, the other saint, Saint John Mary Vianney, the saint of all the parish priests and priests as such, he came and asked him, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm watching him and he's watching me. I'm watching him and he's watching me." Every day in our adoration, you know that I've been having prayer for from COVID time almost. In the morning, the first half hour we spend in uniting ourselves to Jesus. The three things. Jesus has said, "Remain in me as I remain in you." Now in this, you go deeper and say, "I must decrease, he must increase." In this, still deeper, the attitude of Mother Mary, "I am the servant of the Lord, be it done to me according to your word." This is what we do in the half hour, in the first half hour. The second half hour, Jesus' life and my life is one, because I am a cell in his body. What he has gone through, what we contemplate, meditate on the mysteries of his life, Mother Mary is accompanying me as I become more and more Jesus today. And so the mysteries of his life will strengthen me as I go through the events of what I experience in daily life. And so we pray the rosary, but scriptural rosary, meaning the mystery. And what is the quote? From where does it come? We memorize that quote. In that sense, by repeating it, it will become part of us. So they will not say to us, "You don't know the scriptures." Yes, when we pray the rosary, when we have our devotion to Mother Mary, she's accompanying us in becoming more like Jesus. That's what we are doing in the rosary. So we have these mysteries very much etched in us, because we also will go through such events in our life. And the third part is what I want to tell you. This is what it is. We watch Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. While we watch his rays of compassion, mercy, forgiveness, they get into us and they begin to root out all those roots of sin which are there. And at every breath we are getting it out. So this entire 1.5 hour is spent in a way by which we become holistic in our oneness with Jesus. And that is what we need to do. Once we watch Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, there's no picture there, but only the host. And then we will get into a higher level of seeing Jesus in all things and all things in him. My dear sisters and brothers, let the exaltation of the cross, many of us are wearing the cross, but realize that Jesus is setting you free at every moment. Just avail of this, become present to him, and you will be enjoying good life in the midst of all the problems that there will be. Let us now spend a few moments with Jesus, hold our hands together in our lap, keep our back straight, close our eyes. Every breath is his breathing in us. He's so intimate to us. Our body and mind is based on this breath. He's alive because of the breath. He's able to function because of the breath. But if we remain self-centered, then we miss out on what God God's plan is for me. I'm not living in Him, I'm living apart from Him. Since I'm baptized in Him, I should live with Him, through Him, and in Him. Lord, may we continuously remain united to You all the time, at every breath. Give us this grace as we celebrate Your exaltation on the cross, by which You have brought salvation to us and freedom from sin and evil.